as you can see, they remodel their place. So I could extend this wire mesh all the way to the other side so that they can't dig there in order to find a cool spot to lay down. But it's not a big issue at the moment. And over there, I let the water run for a while. And so now they have plenty of material to build their own wallow instead of me digging. But I've been contemplating the next time I am with the excavator here, I could reach in and make a little hole somewhere there in the back to help them a bit so that the water does not come towards me, where I am standing. I should also mention that this is supposed to be filled with straw. Unfortunately, the delivery is a little bit delayed due to some issues the guy has with his truck, and he's waiting on pieces to install. And we also discovered that we need to redo the entrance a bit, because every time he crosses that creek down there at the entrance, the truck hits the ground with the tail, and he doesn't like this. So I will take the backhoe there and make some modifications over the next few days. And then we can have straw here, because the odor is beginning. You see there the black spots, that's where they've been pooping. They've been pooping all over the place except where they sleep. Pigs are clean if you let them. So they make sure not to poop in their bedroom. That's very smart. Well, initially they didn't want to come close. But as pasture, good pasture, is the best fence, now they are coming closer and closer. Initially, they wanted to stay there in the back. And you see, they have eaten up everything there in the back. And now the only food left is here in the front. And that's exactly what I want them to do. Because they should clear this area here. And to the right. So that all this I don't have to cut down. And yes, we were supposed to shear them yesterday, but one of the guys got ill, and so that wasn't possible. Hopefully next week. So there's enough opportunity for them to munch down that grass. There is a lot of delicious clover in there, so it should. This is not a punishment. This is a gift. The summer heat has begun, and I'm on my way to open the valves for the irrigation of the Miyawaki forest. And I want you to see this. Now the dominant color becomes brown instead of green. And I think it shows. Some of the sizzles are still green, but they soon will also turn into seed distribution mode, and that means the moisture supply to the seed heads will be cut off so that they can fly away. And I will now go there to the Miyawaki forest, loop around, turn on the valves, open them, and then I come back the other way to also check on the cypress trees. There the irrigation is automated, and it is a little bit easier to do this from afar. I did calculate a few potential solutions how to automate the irrigation there in the Miyawaki forest. Originally the idea was to use LoRa one, and I have two devices that could control the valves there. But then LoRa is not really a technology to turn things instantly on and off. So current thinking is to run a very long electrical cable and add regular equipment there, like the rainbow controllers and their valves. And that might be a suitable solution, at least for the immediate future. Eventually, electricity over long distances is a challenge, and even a small solar system is still an expensive ordeal. It's okay if you want to have a little bit light at the cabin, but if you want to control devices somewhere out in the field reliably, suddenly it becomes a little bit more complex, because they need to be available 24/7, and that in a reliable way. While if you're at your cabin, well, you turn on the light at night for a couple of hours and then you turn it off. And during the day, they are off and things can recharge. That makes the things quite different. So I'm still contemplating how to do this, but I think for the immediate future, a long cable and some fiber optics cable for the connection is the cheapest way and the easiest way. And at the same time, pretty reliable, because it's a wired connection. And yes, I still need to fly the drone over the Miyawaki forest. I need to clean it and charge it and have it prepped. But there's so many other things that I need to take care of that I have not been able to. But what I wanted to show you is, here we drove maybe 3 times over the grasses and they still lay flat. So that means over there, when all the grasses that produce seed for the summer are done, they will do the same. And then the other things, given that there's enough moisture, can continue to grow. And therefore, in a little while, we can then see how things really stand. Because right now, there's not much to see, even from the air, I believe. And flying a drone when it is 35 degrees Celsius in the shade and a lot more than direct sunlight is also a challenge for the drone and the battery. I don't want the drone to suddenly catch fire and then I have a fireball falling onto all this dry material. It would be a very bad idea. So therefore I'm a little bit reluctant, and I need to find the right moment. But in the morning I am busy with client work, so I can't really be out in the field. So would have been, needs to be on the weekend that I can go out early and do this. So there you have a little bit of an explanation why I am procrastinating flying the drone. But then I think there's not that much to see until in a little while, when all these grasses are dormant for the summer. So no harm done. More important are the other things, so that this Miyawaki forest is not dying off. And before I turn this on, let's have a look here from the side. So here immediately there is not much that we planted. Planting is more there to the left and to the right. But let me do the valves first, and then we can have a closer look. I might even go in there and show a few details. So this is irrigating now. Unfortunately, there are a few wobblers that seem to be dirty and clogged. So that means I need to go in there and clean them, which of course is a difficult thing because of all the vegetation. So I might not see valuable plants and step onto them. And of course that's something that should be avoided. The idea has been not to go in there until this is grown enough. But there are quite a few here at the end. It's not a pressure thing, because the pressure is enough. So they are simply dirty, and therefore it doesn't really work. I tried it with more pressure by turning on one sector only. So there are 4 sectors and I can control that. And what can drive 4 sectors definitely provides enough pressure for just one. So for example there at the edge, they are not wobbling. So they must be completely clogged. It's quite a few that are not wobbling. And that's a shame, because they also seem a little bit connected in the same place. And like I said, it's not pressure. It's just that there's dirt in there and it blocks the quite narrow nozzle. And yeah, you are supposed to use clean tap water to drive these wobblers. But we have to irrigate from the pond. And of course I can filter, but then I lose pressure because the pump will push against the filter. So this requires quite a bit investment to get this right. I have a plan for that, but of course, like I said, it's investment. And yeah, this is a challenge. That is the cool thing about having equipment. I noticed that they haven't been digging as I wanted. So the water flew all the way down there. And there it is a little bit higher. And therefore it stops there. But that wasn't the idea. The idea is that they make a wallow here. But then you can also see, if I put this right, the terrain still slopes to the right. So I helped them a little bit. And because we have an excavator, I can do this at a moment's notice. So we just did this in 5 minutes. And I will now turn the water on. The hose is a little bit buried there. And give them their mud pit. So the hose is free again. And now they can really build the wallow. Of course, the fresh soil there is also attractive. They will flatten this and distribute it, I think. But the ground here has been very, very hard for their noses. The noses are strong, but the excavator is stronger. And now they have it easier to shape this. I can't keep this open for very long. That's a thing for tomorrow. But but I give them a little bit of water so they can entertain themselves for a while. They heard the dogs barking, but the dogs are somewhere else. They are over there in the distance. I'm not interested in them. There's, by the way, still a challenge regarding the delivery of the straw. So we're working on this. I actually did a piece. I can't officially tell you what that piece is, but it's so that the truck can come in. And I just noticed also that our design of the farmyard, I need to review this. The way I thought is going to be very impractical. So we need a way to get straw bales into this area here in a clean and easy way. But these guys are now happy. Another trench, another cable. Here we want to bury quickly an Ethernet cable so that the devices over here are wired instead of the wireless connection that you see there. The box will stay, but the wireless access point will go. And then more cameras and devices to also open and close this, and do things over there can then be installed, and it will be more reliable.